the President of the United States on Fox News, on Fox and Friends, giving an update on the Charlie Kirk assassination, saying a suspect is in custody now. We expect an FBI briefing here in the next few minutes. Myles, it's good to speak with you. Last night we had this news conference. It seemed like law enforcement was having some difficulty. They again made a plea to people to send in leads, photographs, video. Catch us up to speed. What have we learned of what's happened?
Yeah, so this suspect, who hasn't been identified, is, according to law enforcement sources, from St. George, Utah. He was turned in by his parents, and it sometimes is so important to stress how public appeals for information and for photographs, aid investigations, and that's what happened here. Parents watching the news, seeing the story in the local paper, online, getting in contact with law enforcement saying, that's our son, and police taking him into custody, within the last few hours here. The president's been talking on Fox News and basically, talking about the suspect, saying it's basically a one-off thing and he wasn't connected to any network. But, truthfully, it'll take the work of law enforcement to figure out just, what was behind this and what was the motivation here. The press conference last night was illuminating in learning how he, his modes of transit, how he got up on the roof and all of that. But it did not, I think it did not give us, more clues onto who this person was. And they weren't there yet on any of the forensic details about what happened.
Myles Miller with us. We're going to continue with Myles here. He's on the FDR right now?
He is.
He's
in transit.
David Gura and Tom Keene welcome you across the nation to our coverage of Federal Bureau of Investigation briefing scheduled for 9 a.m. I'm going to guess it'll be a little late, but we're going to come to you commercial-free as the nation looks at the murder of Charles Kirk. The President of the United States still speaking on Fox right now in their morning program, and he's making headlines with that. We're making good conversation and analysis with Myles Miller. David?
Myles, I wanted to ask you about the context in which this search has happened, and there were a number of pieces this morning kind of looking at the state of the FBI under Kash Patel and Dan Bongino's leadership, noting the fact that it's lost many career law enforcement officials over the last 6 months or so. What is your sense of that particular law enforcement agency's capacity to undertake the kind of search that it has here? Is it at all handicapped? What are your sources telling you just about the state of the FBI today?
Yeah, and just to set the scene about the Salt Lake City office, in the last 4 weeks, the head of that office was summarily forced to retire. I reached out to her yesterday. She didn't want to talk, but, she had been in the FBI for 21 years, ran the L.A. field office. Patel moved her to Salt Lake City. So there's been upheaval in that office. It's not as big an FBI office as, say, Denver or some of the other big cities. And so FBI, ATF surged resources into that area. You could tell the strain that this case has had on that area. Patel is eager to be a more modern FBI director, so was trying to get out front with, we have a suspect in custody and all of that, and then twice burned by that, when both those people didn't pan out.
Myles, so, you're one of the... You're one of the best people I know to ask this question. You've been in the trenches on this. Forget about the romance of the microphone and you're in front of the building or whatever, folks. It's the stuff you see off camera, and Myles Miller is expert at this. Myles Miller, is it a changed, different FBI?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a completely different FBI, and one story that we've been working on for several weeks now is just about the changes in the FBI. And, while some of them feel cosmetic, right, moving buildings, shortening meetings, and all of that, he is trying to build a different FBI, with a focus on violent crime, and this certainly will fit into that. I think some of the criticism has been warranted, and some of it really is cosmetic, right? This is a person who's trying to put his own stamp on what he thinks this agency should be, changing, standards and all of that kind of stuff. But, with this investigation, it'll be really telling. This is the first really big investigation by this FBI, and potentially a suspect caught within 3 days. Mangione was about the same time, same period of time.
I want to go back to the news conference last night again as we look ahead to an update here in just a matter of minutes, and we're going to take that news conference live with those FBI officials. And Myles, we learn more about the weapon this shooter used, which you say we learn more about how he escaped. Get us up to speed on that facet of this as well. So, of course, the search has been ongoing to find this individual. But what more have we learned just about the circumstances surrounding all of this? What happened leading up to the shooting itself, and sort of what happened in the immediate aftermath?
Yeah, so the suspect, in advance of the shooting, climbs up onto that roof via the staircase, fires that shot from 200 yards away, and then immediately braces himself and jumps down from the roof. And he seems to really hurt himself so badly that he's limping away. And you see that in the surveillance video that they released last night. So, this was planned clearly in the way that this was done. But that's the work they're going to be doing, is trying to figure out, okay, did he know this event was happening? How long ago did he know? Premeditation. It speaks to all of that. Now, one thing that was interesting is that there's two things. The first is that the governor said that he's going to pursue the death penalty. This may go federal, and federal judge may take care of that as well. Second is that foreign adversaries are using this event to try to stir fighting between Americans, right? To try to get unrest in the United States. Russian and China actors using this event to try to stir that. That was shocking to hear and really interesting.